absolute state of my room right now. I've given you such good lighting with this video, and look at the background I've got. Shocking. The website footyjumpers.com is such a valuable resource for anybody who's interested in the history of our great game. What they do is they go through every season of VFL, AFL, and a lot of state football as well, and give you a picture of every jersey they've had. Home games, away games, pre-season, heritage, clash, they list them all. I just find myself sometimes going through and looking at all these changes, looking at these small changes, looking at these massive changes. And it got me thinking, what is the worst jersey every AFL/VFL team has had to wear? Fortunately, I have done my research and I think I've found one for each. Now, for me, a good jersey must be simple, it must be elegant, and it must be evocative of the team. You should be able to see any jersey the team's wearing and know which team they're representing. Consequently, a bad jersey is either too busy or / too complicated, it is too lazy, they haven't put enough effort into the design, or it's just baffling and it doesn't remind you of the team that's actually wearing it. Hey guys, I forgot to mention, because I'm not very good at anything that I do, but for a jumper to qualify for this list, it has to have been worn more than once. So no specialist clash jerseys, no heritage jerseys, no Indigenous rounds or rivalry rounds or anything like that. Let's proceed. Going alphabetically, Adelaide's actually pretty good. They're usually pretty good. They stick to this basic colour scheme, which I quite like. So probably the worst one they ever had was this one for the 1999 away games. And I just think the worst thing about it is this massive shield they've just sort of stuck on the back, and that wasn't just Adelaide that did that. There are a lot of teams that had that. It just really doesn't go well with just the stripes. Looks like someone just pasted it on top. But look, if that's as bad as it gets, that's not too bad. Adelaide's pretty good. Even the front of it, I really like this sort of crow just stuck on the front. It works. Brisbane, on the other hand. So look, for Brisbane, I've incorporated both Fitzroy and Brisbane Bears. I really like Brisbane's jersey. This is their standard home jersey for this season. Really like the blue and the maroon. Works very well. Lion, very simple, very stylized. In sharp contrast to the Brisbane Bears' first home jumper. What am I looking at? It is one of the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen. First of all, the colour scheme. Yellow and brown, it works well for Hawthorne, but when it's predominantly brown, it just looks like mud or something else, I'm sure you can imagine. Look at this bizarre logo. So you got the two Bs for Brisbane Bears. They've also incorporated this little, the mascot's head in one of the Bs, but then you've also got this pyramid at the top. I don't understand. I don't know what they were going for with this line that just runs to the back. Hideous, hideous jumper. So many things wrong with it. Carlton I sympathise with. It's blue and white. There's not a whole lot you can do with it. This is their current jersey. I don't actually like how they've gone back to the original monogram. I like when they had the more smooth, more elegant monogram. But look, it's not terrible even now. But there's not a whole lot you can do if you're Carlton. There's not a whole lot you can change and still make it evocative of your team. As we can see with this clash jumper from 2011 to 2012. I feel like if you are the Navy Blues, you can't be the Sky Blues as well. It's harsh because they don't have a lot of options, but come on. The theme song is literally We Are the Navy Blues, and they've got this pale baby blue for this clash jumper. No, doesn't do it for me. Collingwood to sympathise with again. They are almost always black and white. There's not a whole lot you can do to change it. You can invert it and make it black on white rather than white on black, whatever we've got here, which they've done a few times. But because it's been so consistently that, you can tell that there's a lot of maybe experimental ideas they want to go with. And it seems like in the 1996 preseason, they went with all of them. Wow. Where do you begin? Well, let's begin with the Magpie Mascot they've got, who is, for some reason, incredibly muscly. I hate it. I hate this thing so much. I hate how they just stuck it on the front of the jersey like a 3D character just like in the foreground. I hate how there's so many different patterns of black and white. Like, you've got the really thin stripes here, the check design here, and then the more you look at it, the uglier it gets. Then you've got, I guess this is a feather design, which, like, I wouldn't mind if they just did that and nothing else, but in combination with the incredibly buff Magpie and the just mess of, look at this. What? You can tell they were given a lot of free rein and they went too far with it. Terrible. Terrible jersey. It's a pre-season jersey. Thank God they never wore it for a home and away game. Abysmal. It's definitely evocative of Collingwood. No one can dispute the fact that it's a Collingwood jumper. But my God. Essendon's got a pretty good history of jumper designs because they've mostly stuck with this, the red sash. It's pretty simple, but again, when you don't have a lot of room to innovate, you don't have many different chances to change it up if it's an away game, which is why I've currently selected this current away jersey as their worst jumper. It's not, look, there's still a sash there, but it's red on red. Your team colours are red on black. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like the red on red. It really clashes badly. I feel if they could have gone with, these are some of the earlier designs they had for away jumpers. Not too bad. I think it looks a lot better. And even this I thought was quite clever when they extended the sash to make it more red than black. But as you can, maybe it sort of looks like they're kind of, there's sort of like a fat effect going on, like the sash sort of billows out like they're obese. So I don't know if they're better. I just don't like the red on red that they went with for this season. Okay, so two options. I like the Western Bulldogs jersey. This is their current home jumper. I actually liked it when they had the stylized bulldog head. I think that's what a animal mascot should be. Just simple, flat, stylized. This is great. Actually, I prefer this one, but I'm fine with if they want to ditch the bulldog, go back to the more heritage-inspired home jumper. Fine with that. What I'm not fine with, we've got two to choose from. I couldn't decide. I laugh every time I see it, the 1995 pre-season jumper. What is going... Look, Bulldog's fine. It's very similar to this Bulldog here. What is with all these curves and like this diamond effect they've got going on? I don't understand it at all. Like the contrasting shapes they've got happening in this design. It really rubs me the wrong way. But it does have an advantage on the other one I've got for the Western Bulldogs. This 1935 home jumper, which had to make the list because according to footyjumpers.com, it was only worn for one season because all of the jerseys were destroyed when they got dry cleaned at the end of the year. So I think that has to qualify as one of the worst footy jumpers if it literally couldn't get dry cleaned without being destroyed, and they never went back to that design. So big gap between the two of them, but yeah, I'm glad they usually stick with just this design for the home jumper. Okay, I actually really dig this Freo jumper. I really do. Very, very simple. Again, simplicity is best. Purple and white. You know, it's not easy to make purple a dignified colour, but they do it really well. But this is last year's home jumper. Really good design. I like it. Some of the worst designs include this one for their away jumper. Now, that is way too much green. This is when they were utilising the green, which are one of their colours, more than just the purple and white, and this is just way too much. Now look, it's not the very worst because it is just a reflection of the home jumper they had at the time, which was this. So look, I'm not going to be too harsh because I'm sort of a sucker for when they invert the colours, and you can see it is the same design, they've just changed the colours up. It just looks so bad with all the green. But I haven't actually selected that because the worst jumper they ever had was the 3D anchor. It's so late 90s. The fact that they've got this massive 3D hammer on quite just a flat design, and it's just sort of like, it's cool and it's modern, but it doesn't work for me. Just off center swinging. I don't know what they were going for, but I don't think it ages well. And again, this massive shield like Adelaide had on theirs. I hate it. I hate just sticking it on. Just have a gap in the jumper design and put the numbers on. Don't just stick a massive shield on there. No good. Geelong has had some shockers over the years. They've usually stuck with this for the home jumper, which is fine. With the blue and white, that works perfectly fine for me. No problems there whatsoever. It's when they have to play their away games or change it up for whatever reason. they fall into some trouble. And that's where we end up with things like... Ugh! It's so lazy. I hate it when they just stick a logo on the very front. So bad. Just so bland, uninspiring. I'm not a fan of the clashing blues. I hate it when they just stick the logo on and they don't stylize it in any way. They just copy and paste it. But sometimes they do stylize it. They make it blend in to the jersey and it doesn't work well either. Controversial, because this is like during the Cat's golden period. So everyone remembers this jumper pretty well. But it's the cat for me. It's the cat for me. You can't try and make a cat, not a lion. There's already a team called Lions. Not a tiger. There's a team called the Tiger. Cats. You can't try and make it ferocious. It looks like something out of the musical Cats, and it does not work for me whatsoever. I hate how it's ferocious, but kind of flamboyant. No way. They should have done like the Western Bulldogs did with theirs, just like a side profile or something. Even something more akin at the top we've got here with their logo, just a simple silhouette of a cat, rather than a cat face staring at you. Like, who's going to be intimidated by it? Like, what, you're about to be tackled and you see like the cat coming towards you? Is it meant to be a ploy? No way. No, I don't like it. So look, you can see I'm kind of hard to please. I hate it when they just go lazy, and then I hate it when they go too far. But it's my channel. The Gold Coast Suns, so very recent team, not that many variations, but went with this one. The chevrons, I believe they're called. This shape, chevron. It's like a V. What is going on? Why are there so many? It looks like something that like a wrestler would wear, or it's like a Power Ranger design. I hate this sort of this sort of metallic modern look that a lot of jerseys on this list feature. You know, these lines, you know, just make them solid colors rather than this sort of almost 3D effect. Like, ooh, it's a piece of modern art. It doesn't work for me. It's definitely not the worst on the list, but I hate this modern look they go for. This is much better, just the simple red and yellow with the logo. Similar, Greater Western Sydney. Not a lot to complain about. This is a home jersey. I actually quite like it, really a lot. This is like a really simple, elegant design. And the very worst they've got is this, which is just sort of boring. They've just sort of stuck a G in the middle. But again, if that's your worst jersey, and that was from their first season, if that's your very worst, you're doing pretty well. Greater Western Sydney, they've got a good design team so far. Let's hope it stays that way. Hawthorne! On the other hand, Hawthorne has had some shockers. And similar to the Gold Coast Suns we were talking about, one of them is... What is going on? Every time I see that, it's like a modernist interpretation of a hawk. What is with the bronze and the chrome look? Again, this Power Ranger look they're going for. I do not like it one bit. I hate the dots, the lines, the sort of, again, the 3D effect they're going for. It is so bad. I don't know, does it remind you of Hawthorne? It doesn't remind me of Hawthorne. But it's not the worst they've ever had. That would be... yeah, that would be that one from the 1995 pre-season. Where this is incredibly modern and too modern, ultra modern, this looks like a sweater vest that your uncle would wear while he's playing golf. It does not look like a jumper, first of all. I don't know why the blue... I don't know what it was about the pre-season that made them incorporate the blue, but my word, what an ugly jumper. Probably one of the very worst on this list, along with the Collingwood pre-season one. Okay, so Melbourne, no really shocking ones I've found. Worst I could find, lazy, red and just logo stuck on the middle. Again, it's a stylized logo, so it's not that bad. Definitely not the worst on this list, but kind of boring. And just sort of, I don't know, nowhere near as good as this iconic home jumper they've got going on and they've kept for several years. Kangaroos, kind of the same deal. Worst I could find. I don't know, some people might like that. I just, again, that's the logo. That's the team logo just stuck straight in the middle with like a V. I do remember an article from this time criticizing this jumper design. So there's at least one other person who agrees with me that it's not a very good design. Getting rid of the kangaroo, I think, would just be a lot more effective, just having the V there, or the chevron, if you will. Okay, Port, I really dig Port's current jumper. I love this. I love the teal and the white and the black. I think that's fantastic. They've actually had some pretty good home jumpers, Port, in their relatively short history. I think it's a really good colour scheme. I like it a lot. I don't like this. Yeah, Port Power. So they've added some hyper-realistic lightning over this background that I don't know if that's meant to represent something. Is that evocative of anything to do with Port Adelaide? Or is it just, again, one of these very, very modernist, very futuristic designs? I hate 3D effects on jerseys. I'm biased, maybe. Do not like this 2004 away jumper. And I similarly... What is going on? Again, it looks like a wrestling sort of vest. It looks like something Seth Rollins would wear. Why are we going with all these lines? Different sides. Just be big and be bold. Simple and elegant. Like this. Look how good this is. Striking, simple, elegant. Richmond, Richmond's had some bad ones. Probably the worst I've seen is this pre-season one. Blech. Yes, it's definitely Richmond. You know it's Richmond because they've just stuck the Richmond logo again, straight in the middle. It's pre-season, so maybe it's not like considered that important. They can just sort of get away with shitty designs. But they've gone with silver because they were sponsored by Silver Top Taxis at the time, which, I mean, look, that's going to affect your jumper design, but I don't like it. They've obviously thought, go with silver predominantly, but we need something in the middle. But again, copy and paste it. Terrible. For whatever reason, it makes it even worse when they did the same thing next year. They've just removed the colour from it. And now it doesn't even look like a tiger. It just looks like a blur. So I'm glad Silvertop's no longer sponsoring them because these are some bad Richmond designs. Sydney, I love Sydney's home jumper. I love the red and the white, and I love this, which could be evocative of Sydney Opera House, or it could be a swan's feathers. Who knows? Could it be both? No one knows. Very good design. I love it. So you know what I mean? You don't need a lot of colours and a lot of fancy schmancy shapes to make a good jumper. And actually, South Melbourne / Sydney has been so good. The very, very worst I could find, 1922. If the worst jumper you have was in 1922, that's pretty good, considering a lot of these have been from like the last 10 years. Bad, club monogram. I hate that. South Melbourne Football Club. I do not like it. Carlton's got the perfect club monogram with theirs. This is no good, and they've just stuck it in the middle, and it's almost entirely red. Again, not a fan of one colour dominating. But again, if the worst you have is from 1922, you're doing a pretty good job. St Kilda. So St Kilda, this is when you have to go with the history. St Kilda is red, white, and black. I had to look at their red, white. I was going to say red, white, and blue. No, that's Australia and America and England. St Kilda is red, white, and black. And I love it. I love it. Again, great design. There was a problem though. Red, white, and black was actually the colours of the German imperial flag, which became a problem in World War I when Australia was fighting against Germany. So the worst one I went for was during the First World War when they changed their jumper to the Belgian flag colours. It's not terrible, but you have to include it because they were shortchanged because their colours ended up being inadvertently supportive of Imperial Germany in the First World War. The irony being, the colours they chose would eventually become the new German flag. But by that time, they'd gone back to the red, white, and black, so it didn't matter. So look, I love that that war fever was so strong in Australia, they had to change their colours, lest they be, booed as representing Germany. So, bit of history. I love it. Okay, so this is West Coast's current home jersey, and I don't love it. I much preferred when they incorporated the darker blue and, sometimes with the white as well. I really, really like this one here they used from 2014, 2015. I think that's a great design. Even the one they did after that, getting rid of the white but going with the navy blue. I like the navy blue a lot more than the royal blue. So I really like these two a lot more than their current one they've got. And I think a reason I really don't like this one is because it's so evocative of their first one, which is such an eyesore. Eagles. You shouldn't have to put your team mascot's name there. Was it because this is such a, ambiguous bird? Again, it's stylized, so I can't criticize that. It's not a hyper-realistic eagle, but look how much better they did with this one, or with this one. And just the massive yellow, just the blinding, garish jumper design. It's a no. It's a no from me. I would definitely rather they bring back the navy blue. I'm curious to see what West Coast fans think. Are you okay with the royal blue? I much prefer the navy. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, this first jumper they had, not for me.
So there you go. Please let me know below, politely, if I got it right or if I got it wrong, if there's a great jersey that I happen to feature, or if there's an even worse jersey that I forgot about. And if you're not sure, I'd encourage you to check out footyjumpers.com, without which this video would not be possible. They're not sponsoring me or anything. I don't think they're a corporate entity anyway, but it's just a great resource. Cheers. Hope you're all doing well. Weird footy season this year, obviously. Grand final in Queensland. First time it's ever been held out of Victoria. For the best, because nothing is more important than our health at this trying time. Except Collingwood Premiership. We'll see. Playing West Coast in West Coast on Saturday. So, fingers crossed. If you're a Collingwood fan, which I am. Alright. Show yourselves out.